Hello and welcome to SaltWire today for Thursday, May 25th. I'm your host, Kate Walker. For the first time ever, Nova Scotia is now offering the meningococcal B vaccine free to young people living in group settings like a university residence. The vaccine will be covered for Nova Scotians under 25 who are entering post-secondary studies and will be living in a dorm or residence setting for the first time, or first-time military recruits who will be living in a congregate setting such as a military barrack.
We've looked at the emerging evidence. Is it building on? We now have a group where there's substantive and sufficient evidence that this group in these very particular settings are at increased risk.
This is a progressive step for the invasive disease that can be life-threatening. The bacteria can spread through direct contact with saliva or spit of a person, like kissing or sharing drinks. In June 2021, 19-year-old Kai Matthews' death made headlines when he died from the virus after being discharged from hospital twice in the previous 24 hours by ER doctors. There have been at least 2 cases of students who have died in Nova Scotia since. Public Health is encouraging those who are eligible to get vaccinated before they move into their shared living spaces. Full protection requires 2 doses 4 weeks apart. Some Nova Scotians who need to travel to other parts of the province for surgery will soon have some of the costs covered by the province. A new pilot program announced today is aiming to reduce the out-of-pocket costs for lower-income patients who have to travel within the province for things like surgery, endoscopies, and other related appointments. The pilot program will begin Thursday, June 1st, and run for 1 year. It will provide reimbursements for transportation costs at 57 cents per kilometre when using personal vehicles, accommodation costs of up to $85 a night if traveling more than 50 kilometres one way, and transportation and accommodation costs for someone to travel with the patient if necessary. To be eligible for the program, Nova Scotians must have a confirmed surgery or procedure date, be on the Nova Scotia Health wait list for surgery, be a resident of Nova Scotia with a valid health card, have a gross family income of less than $35,000 per year, and not have private insurance that covers travel or accommodation costs. A former employee of the Provincial Justice Department's Sheriff Services Division is accused of breaching a publication ban on the identity of a teen charged in stabbings at a Bedford high school. A 15-year-old is facing 11 charges, including 2 counts of attempted murder from March 20th incident at Charles P. Allen High School that sent a vice principal and an administrative assistant to hospital. The teen's identity is protected under the Youth Criminal Justice Act, but today police say they were made aware late March of social media posts where the teen was named. 30-year-old Ali Al-Hindal will be arraigned in Halifax Provincial Court June 22nd on a charge of breaching publication ban provisions of the YCJA. A Justice Department spokesperson says Al-Hindal is no longer employed with them. Shortly after police announced the charge against the sheriff's deputy, the boy made a brief appearance in Halifax Youth Court today via video link from the Nova Scotia Youth Facility in Waterville. The defense lawyer asked that the case be adjourned for 3 weeks. It will return to court June 15th for election and plea. It's forecasted to be a near-normal Atlantic hurricane season. That's predicted by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and backed up by Environment and Climate Change Canada, who held a press conference today. The hurricane season officially begins June 1st to November 30th.
They're calling for 12 to 17 named storms. 5 to 9 of those storms would make it to hurricane status.
For a better look at the influences for this season's outlook and what it could mean for Atlantic Canada, we're going to go to our weather specialist, Alistair Alders.
Well, as Kate mentioned, we are looking at 12 to 17 named storms this Atlantic hurricane season. That's according to NOAA and was echoed by the Canadian Hurricane Center, as you heard there. 5 to 9 of those could become hurricanes, and 1 to 4 of them could become major hurricanes. So why are we looking at a near normal season? Well, there are a few factors, and one of the main ones is the expected return of El Nino later this summer. Of course, we've been under the La Nina influence for the last several years. We had a triple dip La Nina. We're in a neutral phase now, and that El Nino is expected to return, which can suppress Atlantic hurricane activity thanks to increased wind shear and can lead to below normal conditions. However, we also have sea surface temperatures that are running above normal in the tropical Atlantic and the Caribbean Sea, so that could offset that suppression of storms by fueling it with the warm ocean temperatures. Of course, hurricanes need very warm waters to really get their genesis. Also, the West African monsoon season, it looks like that has the potential to impact the season this year, as easterly waves can serve as the genesis for some of our tropical storms and major hurricanes. And here's a list. Did your name make it? The list of our hurricane names for the 2023 season.
Last year's Atlantic hurricane season had 14 named storms, 8 of which were hurricanes. Nova Scotia firefighters have left for Yellowknife Northwest Territories to help out with out-of-control wildfires. 20 Department of Natural Resources and Renewables firefighters and 1 agency representative left early this morning from Halifax. The province says our current wildfire conditions allow resources to be shared. Crews could be pulled from the Northwest Territories to come back home if things change here. The mutual agreement to help one another means the affected province covers the costs of the jurisdictions that are sending help. It's time now for a glimpse of today's Thinking Out Loud with Sheldon McLeod. Today, Sheldon is speaking with Hope Swinimer, who was ticketed for treating a coyote that was hit by a car in 2022. The case was dropped after the Crown offered no evidence.
You were treated the same as any other citizen, but clearly you're not the same as any other citizen in a lot of ways because of what you're doing in the facility you have. Would it be fair to say that if we were to go back in time to January of 2022, that you'd do it again?
Oh, that's such a hard question to ask. I think I would do things a little differently. If it happened again, yes, I would take that. If it was dropped at my door, I would take that animal in and give it medical care. But I would be quicker on the draw of calling DNR that very minute. And that's where I think I could do better. That morning, there was also 9 emergencies that arrived. So even our veterinarian was swamped with cases. And usually when she gets a lot at once, she stabilizes and then goes back and checks. So we know the animal didn't die in pain or suffering. He was given drugs to make him feel better. And then as soon as the doctor was able to get all the emergencies handled, she'd go back and physically do what she needed to do. But so would I do the same thing? I, of course, could not live with my ethical standards, I guess, for lack of a better word, if I just left that animal there to die. But I would immediately call, but I would also immediately give it medical care.
And for Sheldon's full conversation, head to the opinion section of saltwire.com. Time now for the Atlantic Sports Wire, presented by Scott Squires.
Here's the final installment of my chat with Chris Head, a ball player who's played 18 years in the Nova Scotia Senior Baseball League for Dartmouth. Chris, from a young boy in River Ryan, Cape Breton, playing his little league on Jerry Marsh Ball Field in New Waterford, when you think about those days and you think about the fact now that you've had this long career playing for Dartmouth, what does it all mean to you?
What a question. Baseball's always been a part of my life, and it always will be a part of my life. I love this game, and I want to continue to give back even when I'm long done playing in some capacity. Starting there and being here, it's actually a 4-hour trip from there to here, but baseball has been able to allowed me to make friends across the country, in the States. It has taken me to every province for a period of time to play and meet people there and experience life, what it's like there. I consider myself very fortunate in that sense. But it's another one it's a great question, man. I don't know. I'm a humble teacher that likes to play baseball. I play for an amateur sports team, and I feel like I have everything I need.
Chris and his Dartmouth Mooseheads teammates are scheduled to host Halifax Pelham tonight, first pitch scheduled for 7:30, weather permitting. In Halifax, I'm Scott Squires for the Atlantic Sports Wire.
Thank you, Scott. On to weather now. To see what's coming up in the forecast, we're going to check back in now with our weather specialist, Alistair Alders.
Hi again, Kate. Well, it was a cloudy day across HRM. We had fog patches, some drizzle, and at times periods of rain. And looking at another gray, damp day tomorrow, and then warming up just in time for the all-important weekend. So we'll take a look at the weather timeline. And this evening, you can see we have mainly cloudy skies, some fog patches and drizzle continuing, and a chance of showers. The temperature this evening near 9 degrees. As we go overnight into tomorrow morning, starting the day with cloudy skies, fog patches near 6 degrees. And as we go throughout the day on our Friday, we will be holding on to mainly cloudy skies. Those fog patches should diminish, but still can't completely rule out a chance of showers or drizzle, and a high temperature heading up to about 11 degrees on your Friday. And as we take a look at the 7-day forecast, I do have some good news. So that chance of showers and drizzle tomorrow, but then sunshine returns on Saturday up to 22 degrees and 26 on Sunday with mainly sunny skies. Look for some late day cloud cover and maybe a chance of showers, but I think mainly over eastern Nova Scotia. The sunshine also sticks with us next week, but we are going to see temperatures tumble on Monday behind a cold front. But as you can see, we do recover nicely as we go through the early to middle parts of next week. Kate.
Thank you, Alistair. That's all for now. For more extended video and full online articles, stay tuned to saltwire.com. And you can find us on social media. I'm your host, Kate Walker. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Turn off the noise. Tune in to what matters. What matters is information you can trust. What matters is the news you can use to make life's big decisions. Informed healthcare choices, casting the smart vote, or opening that business. What matters is understanding the world around you. Let SaltWire connect you to what matters with unlimited access to the information you need for only $20 for the first year. Become a member today.